Hello everyone, Jason Ochoa here. So the question is, what project or task would you consider your most significant accomplishment in your career to date? The task I want to talk about, I chose it more because of what it did for me mentally at the time, rather than the size of the accomplishment itself. To this day, I still pull a lot of strength from some of these experiences that I had. So when life gets hard and challenges feel like they're overwhelming, then I can think back to that time and pull some of those that strength and somehow know that I'll be able to pull through and sort of conquer. The goal I gave myself was that I wanted to learn English as soon as possible, and I gave myself 2 years max to do this. So I'll go right into the story. When I was a sophomore in high school, I was in Colombia. This is where I'm from, and I was right on track to becoming a Catholic priest. So I was in the seminary. How I got here is another story entirely. I promise you, it does not involve little kids or anything like that. So don't get the wrong idea. But also, since then, I've come a long way. I'm not 1 inch religious these days. But I'll tell you, one of the reasons why I wanted to do that was because I love the idea that I could spend my days reading and studying. I could spend my nights dining with people, having really interesting conversations with, the church patrons. And the idea that life could be that, coming at the end of the week, connecting all of the dots, and coming with a fresh, brand new outlook, a new speech or a sermon for Sunday seemed like it was beautiful. So when my parents came to me, when they separated, and my mom came to me and said, "Hey Jason, I'm moving to the States. Do you want to come with me?" I obviously refused profusely. I didn't want to do it. I wanted to do what I felt my life calling was at that time. So one day, I had a really weird dream. I was in front of this audience, and everyone that I knew, my whole family, my friends, everyone was there. As I was giving the speech, people weren't understanding me. They were all speaking in English among themselves, and I was speaking in Spanish. So they couldn't understand what I was saying, and I got very aggravated. I got very angry. So I came, trying to talk to people. I couldn't do it. I grabbed my cousin, and I'm telling him, "Hey, you talk to me in Spanish." And he's just, going, "Man, I really don't know what you're talking about." So I woke up and I just had this resolution, and I was determined. I said to myself right then and there that I had to learn English no matter what. And so I gave myself the goal that in 2 years I would go learn English, and then after that I'd come back and continue with my studies. That obviously didn't happen, which I'm really glad it didn't. I'm glad I'm here talking to you about this rather than the Holy Host, the Holy Ghost or something. But the first part I did accomplish, the first and main part. And how I went about doing that, I called my mom and I said, "Hey, let's go to the States." We moved to the States. Once we're there, I did a lot of things that I thought that would accelerate my learning. I did what any other sensible, normal kid would have done at that age. I went to McDonald's and I asked for the cashier position. And this is weird because even the other coworkers of mine, they couldn't understand our customers. So it was a challenge, but I thought it would accelerate my progress, so I stuck with it. There were other things that happened, like being at school and I'd get a note from the girl sitting behind, and it'd read something like, "Hey, I think you're cute. Do you want to hang out?" And I'd look at this and I'd be like, cute? What does that mean? Hang like a monkey. Out. She wants to hang like a monkey outside. I don't get it. So I'd have to go home, look at the dictionary, translate it, and then come back and write notes to girls. So I think part of that helped. I'd also come home and watch movies, take notes. I'd watch MTV, the real world MTV, and pay attention to what they were saying. They'd say, hey, what's up? And then I'll go in front of the mirror and I'll be like, hey, what's up? Like, that means hello. Okay, great. So it's funny now looking back on it, but it definitely wasn't fun back then. It was definitely a very tough and challenging year. Not only because high school, being around a lot of other immature kids, is hard in itself, but also I didn't have any friends. Obviously I couldn't communicate with people very well. And also being one of three kids of an immigrant uh, single mother, I had to work. I had to go out and make money. So there was all these little humiliations, daily humiliations at school and at work. So it was hard. Despite all of that, there I was, 1 year and 3 months after I'd come to the States, and I'm in a podium in front of the whole high school, and I'm about to give a speech. Somehow I'd gotten into my brain that I could run for office, the SGA, in my senior year against all these other kids that had been there for, their whole life. And I go with a very thick accent. I give this speech about how much we can change this school. I'm terrified. I'm reliving this fear in my mind of the nightmare that I've had a little over a year ago. I'm thinking, oh my God, people are not going to understand. I plowed through it and was very decisive at the end of the speech. I come and say, I'm from Colombia. I have learned a lot. We can change and make this school better together. And I am proud to be here. People were standing up, people were clapping, and the crazy thing is that this speech actually did win me the SGA presidency the year, which I thought was crazy. I thought it was nuts. Like, there I was, fledgling politician, trying to make my dining about, making friends, giving speeches, dreams come true. Well, it turned out none of that, which I had imagined was the reality of it. But at that moment, I was invincible. Anyway, so that's my story. Thank you for listening.